This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's up? I'm trying to figure out why that second one didn't do the hearts. Oh, there you go. Okay, it works now. All right, that's for Stacy right there. Thank you, Stacy. All right. Everybody loves you too, Stacy. A couple minutes. Hello. Anyways, I'm gonna get started because there's actually kind of seems like a lot of stuff. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I know there's a lot of different things here. So the first one was, I saw it while I was surfing, and then my buddy Ada put it in a chat. So I was gonna take a look at this really quick. Kind of a crazy story here. The granddaughter of Manson family victim Rosemary LaBianca, so she was one of the people the Manson family killed, is brutally stabbed to death and found in a pool of blood in her bed, in a chilling repeat of the infamous murders 51 years ago. That's the craziest thing ever, right? I mean, Ariana Wolk, granddaughter of Rosemary LaBianca. Okay, so let's see. The granddaughter of Manson family victim Rosemary LaBianca has been brutally stabbed to death in a chilling repeat of the infamous murder 51 years ago. Ariana Wolk, daughter of Rosemary, daughter of Susan LeBerg, was found murdered in a Denver, Colorado apartment back in July, I guess. Single mom of one, Ariana, 40, was discovered in a pool of blood in her bed after being stabbed multiple times in the neck. And it's weird because she very much resembles the, look at that, it's wild. Almost the exact same face. You know, other than she's smiling, but you can just see the similarity. Even right there, look at that. Same kind of nose and everything. You know what was weird about this was, I was looking at these. I was trying to track down some similar crimes in one of these other cases. Oh, and there's Gwen Jackson. I apologize. I missed. Yesterday I was reading one of the stories and I didn't even know that I had said that person's name. And then when she said it, I thought she read ahead. But sometimes when I'm reading your comments, I'm reading and I don't even hear what I read myself. That's happened a couple times. That's why I've gone back sometimes when I thought I heard something that was interesting. So, but anyways, this is crazy. I was looking at this. I was looking up for a, this other link case possibility. And then what was weird is I opened up this page right here, and then who does that guy look like right there? Who does this guy look like? I mean, the second I saw him, this was before I got the Manson story, I thought, wow, this guy looks like Charles Manson. And then I saw, wow, his name is even Charles. I mean, this guy's a victim right here of a homicide. And it's in Colorado also, ironically. But man, I thought this guy looked exactly like Manson. And then I looked over here and his name is Charles. And then about an hour later, that's when I got my friend Ada put the link in the chat, but I'd already seen it earlier. So it was kind of like, whoa, what are the odds of that? So, anyways, I thought that was interesting. And I guess this guy, Jose Sandoval Romero, 24, was charged with her murder, apparently confessing to the crime when cops caught him 4 days later. I don't know. I guess nobody had put together that she was the granddaughter until recently, I guess. Unless this is old and it just now came out. Let's see. No, that's December 9th today. So, anyways, there you go. Just a quick little update on that. And then let's see. Hold on. Ah, crap. I gotta open up another window really quick. Yep. That wasn't one I was going to go over or anything. I just thought it was pretty interesting. Yeah. And then there was two South Florida truckers were kidnapped. I mean, what a weird thing, right? Truckers are usually where you go, well, oftentimes they can be, not oftentimes, but there's, let's see, serial killers pick being a trucker often, but but the percentage of serial killers that are truckers is tiny. Okay. 2 South Florida truckers kidnapped, tortured, and executed. That's crazy. Investigators are trying to find who kidnapped, tied up, tortured, and fatally shot 2 truckers, execution style, in Opelika over the weekend. Olivia, 50, Johan Gonzalez, Casada, 26, and another man were beaten, shot point blank, and dumped on the 1800 block of Rutland Street. Let's see. Okay, so it's Osmar Oliva, 50, and Johan Gonzalez Caseta, 26. And another man were beaten, shot point blank, and dumped on the 1800 block of Rutland Street on Saturday evening. The third man, whose name has not been released, remains hospitalized at a Ryder Trauma Center in critical condition. A father of 3, Oliva owned Oliva Delivery Corporation, headquartered in Opelika. He was a very good person. his crying widow said in an interview on Monday, "I don't know why this happened to him." Gonzalez Caseta was a father of 2 daughters, including 1-year-old and a baby girl born just 10 days ago. So one of those 2 guys was arrested last year on accusations he had 2 loads of pilfered cargo, frozen shrimp and air conditioning units that had been traced via GPS on stolen tractor trailers. The cargo was discovered at his home. Yeah, so, you know, maybe they're involved with some shady crap and, you know, a deal went wrong, went south, and then they were tortured and executed. Something crazy like that. Yeah, so if you guys get any updates on that, let me know, but I'm just throwing it out there. It seemed like a crazy, weird twist. Hey, thanks, Linda Howell, and thanks for your PayPal earlier, too. Thank you very much. As in Linda Moldenhau of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles.
Love the Freak family.
Raleigh, let's see, on 12/8/20, the NC Center for Missing and has issued a silver alert for a missing endangered woman. Hey, where's Dadio Caspian Horse's Rock, by the way? I haven't seen her for a couple days. Hey, thanks, Michelle Nicholas. Hope she's not sick or something. I'm late. My love can't wait. What does that mean? Michelle Nicholas. Thank you. All right, here's a Selma woman missing. Car found abandoned on I-95. I think I have her information. Her name is Lynn Wheeler. There it is. All right, Selma police are looking for a missing woman whose car was found abandoned off Interstate 95. Hey, thank you, Layla, my Layla. Layla, come here, Layla, my Layla. Selma police are looking for a missing woman whose car was found abandoned off Interstate 95. Thia Lynn Wheeler, 36, was last seen on Tuesday at 1:30 a.m. by a family member on Summit Avenue in Fayetteville. So here's Summit, you know, if you pan out here, it's in North Carolina. And then there's Summit Avenue here, and it's pretty short. So it's going to be, unless it continues somewhere else, it doesn't look like it does. So somewhere on the street here, I wasn't able to find a relative that lived there, but it sounds like Thea Lynn Wheeler, 36, was last seen on Tuesday at 1:30 a.m. You know, nothing good happens that time of night. By a family member on Summit Avenue in Fayetteville. Her empty car, a black 2012 Volkswagen, was found later on I-95 near exit 97. And that's like 40-something miles away. That's right up here. So here's 95. And then I-70 that's mentioned in the next sentence. It said, near exit 97 for U.S. Highway 70. Right, so if you go in down here on this and you just drop in the street view guy here. And yeah, you can actually see it already. That's exit 97 right there. So her car was found near this exit. So what that means, I don't know. Does it mean it was just short of the exit? Does it mean it was off one of these off ramps here? Does it mean, you know, I don't have a clue. Doesn't say. Police say she could be using the name Thia Lynn Schuh, and I did see that those were some of her relatives, S-C-H-U-H, which is her maiden name. Wheeler is described as white with red shoulder-length hair and green eyes. She stands 4'11" and weighs 160 pounds. You know, anybody with information is to call C.J. Eason at the Selma Police Department at 919-965-8189. And that's her right there. She doesn't look like in these pictures that she'd be 4'11" and 160. You know, that means you're pretty big, and she kind of doesn't have that look to me. But these could be older pictures. I wonder if that's supposed to be like 105 or something. Do you guys see what I'm saying? She doesn't look 160, 4'11". Hey, thanks, Maureen Co. Yeah, it definitely looks to me like, I wonder if they're just made a mistake with the numbers there. Like 105, 4'11", 105 looks what she looks like. But let me see. No, I mean, look at this kind of an official document here. You know, I wonder if that was what used to be on her license and she lost a lot of weight or something. Because it does say right here, 4'11", 160. So people are asked to just be on a lookout for her. There's nothing about circumstances. See, there she is again. She doesn't look that big, you know. Now hold on. Let's see if there's a quick Facebook thing for her. Let's see. Okay, I think this is her right here. Yeah, I mean, if that's her, that's definitely not 4'11", 160, right? I mean, she's not massive. You know, that would be pretty big, right? I mean, so I'm just calling out that that's not correct on that, in my opinion. Okay. All right. So, anyways, they're looking for her. That's kind of a strange thing if you think about it. That, you know, she's last seen at 1:30, and then her car is just sort of here, and she's gone. Now, it's possible, you know, the fact that they gave out her other last name and said she could be using this, they might be thinking, yeah, maybe she's 5'11". I don't know. Yeah. She didn't look that tall, though, to be honest with you. But they seem to be thinking it's possible she left on her own or something. You know, maybe she met somebody on the near here, like pulled off, then took off with that person on I-70. Like there wasn't something nefarious reason that she's missing. Well, I mean, I guess it could be that she left a bad situation. So that's all we got. That's all we got. If there were cell phone pings, I probably would have mentioned it. Let's see if there's another anything else in some of these. Police believe Thia Lynn Wheeler's black 2012 Volkswagen Jetta became stuck. See, this is kind of an interesting. This makes it worse. That's right. I was reading this earlier. They believe her vehicle became stuck next to the entrance ramp to I-95. Okay, so that makes it where she would have been on I-70. And then you're entering back, like over here actually. So She may have taken this exit and then was on the entrance ramp over here. Because entrance means you're going back onto it, right? So I'm going to put that over here. I'm just assuming it could actually be over here too, right? On that. But if it is the fact that her car got stuck, then it's really not good news at this point. Police believe that Thia Lynn Wheeler's black 2012 Volkswagen Jetta became stuck next to the entrance ramp to I-95 at Highway 70 early this morning. Police responded to the scene shortly after 6 a.m. and located the abandoned car. She was reported missing by family members. You know, that's definitely one of those situations where you're on your own and then somebody pretends they're going to come up and help you at a crazy hour at night. And like I said, there's not a lot of good people driving around that time of night that aren't truckers, or, you know, and then you're going to go, well, hell, the truckers, you know. Police said Wheeler left Fayette around 1:30 a.m. today. Police do not know why the 36-year-old woman was in Johnston County. Wheeler, a resident of Washington State, had just recently moved to North Carolina. I mean, that's like moving about as far away as you can get from Washington. And she's described as 4'11". See, in this one, they don't have her weight. She may also go by her maiden name, Thia Lynn Schuh. Police have also issued a silver alert. Yosemite Avenue. Police say she could be using a different name. Okay, so I think we've got all the facts, at least that have been put out in the newspapers. There might be some crazy comments in a Facebook group or something, which are almost never 100% accurate. Hey, thanks, Katie, too. Yeah, I mean, we could all sit there. Everything that I just read to you is all we know, right? So when we're asking all these other questions, like, was there pings, or was it the husband, or is there a custody? We don't have any other information at this moment other than what I just said. So hopefully in the next day or so, there'll be more information associated with it. But if her car really, truly did just break down on the side of the road, that's really, really bad news, right? She had 2 Cocker Spaniels and a Beagle. Hey, thanks, Chrissy! Right. Yeah, there's tons of questions everybody wants answered. Yep.
Hey, loves, thanks, Gray.
Look, since we're asking questions, who took her? I just want to know who took her. That's it. Well, yeah, that's kind of where the end game is. But everything I just read to you is all I know at this point. All right, now we're moving on to another case here. That's just one. If you guys see anything. Yeah. I guess if we knew how she vanished, right, Kubi, we'd have the answer. Yeah, and then don't forget, everybody, after the show, go make a comment of some sort on the video, okay? Even if you don't feel like it. Hell, I think you can do it even during the show, you know? Oh, wow, you know? I guess that at 4-hour shows, it's hard for people to have a comment because it's like there's so much shit talked about. What would you write a novel in there? All right. So the next case is a cold case that was solved, you know, but it was interesting because I went back in time again. The articles on the case were ludicrously shitty. Well, hold on a second. Like, look at this scan, everybody. I mean, let me see if I squint my eyes. Let me try it. Monday's discovery of a missing food service aide once again raised the something like idea of security, well, not idea, the issue of security at Memorial Hospital. Jennifer Lee Watkins disappeared after work Friday and was found dead Monday under a stairwell on the hospital something. What do you guys think? Something somewhere. I don't know. This is off of a different newspaper website, which means it's virtually useless. No, Gray, you didn't have the upgrade. If you only pay the $5 a month, you get really shitty scans. But boy, if you send in 10, boy, you get them a little bit clearer. And then 50, it's crystal clear. She is the second hospital worker killed this year. Okay. So, here is the story. Colorado police say suspect in 21-year-old case found. New DNA evidence has identified a former hospital maintenance worker as the prime suspect in a previously unsolved 1999 rape and killing of a woman in Colorado. Authorities believe Ricky Sievert is the man who was responsible for the killing of Jennifer Watkins, the Gazette reported Wednesday. DNA testing from Sievert's surviving relatives found that Watkins' likely killer had more than a 99.99% chance of being a member of the suspect's family. Sievert's work schedule placed him at the hospital on the day she disappeared. Prosecutors completed their investigation into the new evidence this month and said they were confident the person responsible for Watkins' death was Sievert. But right here it said, Sievert was killed in a car crash in 2001, which has rendered the homicide case now officially closed. Yeah, well, the thing is I couldn't find any record of that, but I did find this one tiny article all the way over in Wisconsin. Ricky Sievert, 31, of Colorado Springs, so this is the guy, formerly of Merrill, because he also is from Merrill, a civil engineering technician at Shriver Air Force Base, and a U.S. Navy veteran, died November 2nd, 2001, and he died, I don't know exactly where he was when he died, but at the time he died, he's from Colorado Springs, but was once from there. So maybe it was just put in the paper. And then I believe I found just one other reference to him in the newspaper back then, 1992. And now, look at this. Ricky Sievert, 23, of 714 S State Street, Merrill. So there you go. That's got to be the same person. And if you look at the date, he's 23. You add 9 to that, and you'll have 2001 and 32 years old. So definitely the same guy. Reported his car's windows damaged. I mean, why would they put crap like this in the paper, by the way? I mean, who cares about... reported his car's windows damaged while parked at North 6th Avenue and Oak Street Saturday. The estimated damage, $300. Hey, wow. God, that's interesting. I'm glad you put that in the paper. But hey, at least there is a reference to him in 1992 living in that town. What's going on in here? Hold on. Oh, she was your mom's best friend? Huh, crazy. Yeah, so this guy got, you know, there's just this one reference here. Then he died in a car accident. And then I thought maybe it'd be interesting to, this is the Parabon. In 2017, they did Parabon, and that's what he looks like. So definitely, you know, the facial part is one of the problems Parabon has, even though they do have stuff in their algorithm for that. The eye color is right on the money. The general complexion, they don't have the part in the right place, because how would they know that? And, you know, other than that, they knew that the guy kind of looked a little bit like this, and, you know, he had the right hair color, the right eye color, and skin complexion. So, I mean, Parabon's really good for that part. The facial features, they do have stuff in there in terms of genetic on how your face might look, but it's nowhere near as good as the freckle, complexion, hair color, eye color. Yeah, so that's her. Police announced they solved the 1999 cold case murder of Jennifer Watkins in Colorado Springs. Right there. Police in Colorado Springs announced they solved the cold case of a hospital employee after the body was found more than 20 years ago. The body of Jennifer Watkins was found in a secluded stairwell of Memorial Hospital at 1400 East Boulder Street on November 8, 1999. For years, police asked for help in the case. On Wednesday, CSPD announced to the public the case has been solved. According to investigators, Watkins had been sexually assaulted and beaten to death before her body was wrapped in plastic. So is there anybody out there that thinks this was his first rodeo here? This guy, you know, even though he's only 29, I guess, at the time, since he died, when he died he was 31, or was it 32 now? I can't remember. Hold on a second. 31. So he could have been 30 at the time, 29, 30. So to me, I think it'd be interesting to go back and check Wisconsin to see if there's any similar cases in the area. And I think if you started at the age of 20, so if he died in 2001, I think you could go back to probably like 1990, even 1989, maybe start when he's 20, who knows. But, you know, his age at 31 when he died, 29 doing this, that's pretty early for a serial killer type killer, right? But that's exactly what this is right here. Okay? According to the investigator, I mean, this guy, you know, they worked at the same place, but this is what they do. Okay? He literally killed her by physically beating her, strangling her, sexually assaulting her, then wrapping her in plastic. That's insane. Okay? And that's not something that, you know, oh, there was a guy at work, things went wrong. You know, this has nothing to do with that. A person of interest was identified in August of 2020 through DNA profiling using semen that was found on her clothing. The person of interest was identified as Ricky Sievert in October of 20. They had actually interviewed him back then, by the way. A case report was sent to the 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office for review, as investigators were certain Sievert was responsible for the death of Watkins because of the DNA findings, and Sievert's place of employment was also Memorial Hospital. Sievert was killed in a traffic accident in 2001, and the investigation into the murder of Jennifer Watkins will be closed out as exceptionally cleared. So I like it. I like the fact that he is going to always be known now for that. He got to skate. He got to skate through life and enjoy everything, and, you know, do his thing. But, you know, it was kind of a cool karma thing that he got killed in a car accident, just 2 years later, maybe even a year and a half. When was that? That was November 2001. This happened in... Yeah, so that's kind of ironic in a way, isn't it? Hold on, let me check something. So November 2nd, same month, so a little less than 2 years later. On November 8, 1999, at approximately 10 a.m., while detectives were at Memorial Hospital conducting interviews regarding the missing person report of Jennifer Watkins, they were notified that a body was found. So she was just missing for a while. But a body was found under a stairwell in an area of the hospital under construction. Officers learned 2 Dover elevator service employees entered the stairwell on the 8th floor to inspect and repair an elevator shaft. They then entered the stairwell area. They detected a distinctive smell. The elevator personnel looked under the stairwell and saw what appeared to be the shape of a body wrapped in plastic and bound with duct tape. Investigators from the CSPD Homicide Unit, Metro Crime Lab, and the El Paso County Coroner's Office were requested and responded to the scene. Investigators removed the plastic and found the dead body of an adult white female with brown hair. The victim was wearing a teal-colored uniform, smock, a purple blouse, and black pants. The clothing was positioned as such to indicate a sexual assault had occurred. During the course of the investigation, multiple employees and a contractor working at Memorial Hospital were interviewed by detectives under potential suspects. Leads were investigated as well, but no suspect was identified. The El Paso County Coroner's Office completed the autopsy of the deceased adult female, and she was positively identified as Jennifer Watkins. The El Paso County Coroner at the time, Dr. David Bowerman, reported that the victim died as a result of blunt force trauma to the head. Her death was ruled a homicide. As part of the crime scene processing, a careful examination of the plastic used to wrap the body of Jennifer Watkins revealed some hairs, fibers, and a yellow-white stain, later determined to be semen. Additional biological evidence was collected at autopsy as well. Multiple items of evidence were sent to the Colorado Bureau of Investigation for analysis. 2 DNA profiles other than the victims were developed from the evidence. Items submitted for analysis. These profiles were developed from semen samples collected at autopsy. So there was 2 different ones. From the plastic wrap and from the victim's pants. The semen recovered from the plastic wrap, I think that would be from the victim. I mean the killer. Plastic wrap and from the pants of Jennifer Watkins matched each other, but were not a match to the sample collected at autopsy. The semen recovered from the plastic wrap. They're walking. Okay, so that's right. At autopsy, she probably had semen from somebody that it should be in there, like a boyfriend or something like that, right? Or a husband. I don't know if she was married or not, but that's the semen at autopsy, because now you have only her nude body there, right? So this is kind of a strange one, because now it's like the guy didn't seem like he sexually assaulted her, but in a strange way. You know what I mean? Like he relieved himself on her. Like it wasn't inside of her. So this guy he's something a little strange with this guy here. 2 DNA profiles other than the victims were developed. Right, so that makes sense. These profiles were developed from semen samples collected at autopsies, from the plastic wrap, and from the victim's pants. The semen recovered from the plastic wrap and from the pants of Jennifer Watkins did match each other, but were not a match to the sample collected at autopsy. Biological samples were taken from several possible suspects, and all of these individuals had been cleared due to their respective DNA not matching the 2 unknown. Well, I don't know where the other one came from then. the 2 unknown DNA samples. As the investigation continued, Jennifer's husband, Michael Watkins, was interviewed several times, fully cooperated with the request made by investigators. After an extensive investigation, no suspect was identified, and eventually the investigation became cold. Over the past 21 years, multiple detectives continued to work on the case in order to identify a suspect. Well, weren't they able to say that one sample was from her husband? Between 2017 and 2018, cold case detectives, with the assistance of Parabon Nanolabs, a DNA technology company in Virginia, utilized DNA phenotyping to predict the physical appearance and ancestry. Let's see. In March 2019, CODIS hit was received on the unknown DNA profile developed from the evidence collected at the autopsy of Jennifer Watkins. The match in this instance was to Michael Watkins. Oh, that was a familial DNA hit, and was expected to be present based upon information learned during the initial investigation. Wait, the match in this instance was. Wait, hold on a second. No, this is Ricky Sievert. So who's this Watkins guy? That's her husband, right? Okay. I mean, why didn't you guys say that earlier in the this whole story here? The sample that was found inside of her should match her husband, right? Jennifer's husband, Michael Watson, was interviewed several times, right? And then down here it said the match in this instance was to Michael Watkins and was expected to be present based upon information learned during the initial investigation. So now they know, just like I was assuming, that the sample that was on the jeans and the plastic that matched each other, but not the one found at autopsy inside of her, are from the same suspect, and that is an unknown person. So that now they needed to find whose DNA that was. The remaining unknown DNA profile developed from the semen on the pants Jennifer Watkins was submitted for genetic genealogy research through Parabon. Genetic genealogy used advanced DNA testing in combination with innovative genetic analysis, sophisticated identification techniques, and traditional genealogical methods to establish the relationship an individual and his ancestors. Let's see. For forensic investigation, it is used to generate highly informative leads. Yeah. So, anyways, obviously at that point it just led to him, and they collected a sample from the relatives, and they were able to determine that it was his, and then he was working at the same facility at the same time. So it's kind of crazy that he actually, I don't know if that's part of his MO or what, but he didn't, he relieved himself like on the outer, what's weird is did he do that on the plastic? Well, probably not. But why did he wrap her in plastic? Just to keep the odor from showing up sooner? That's a weird one. Yeah, well, good for them. They solved it, and his name will forever. This idiot right here, barbarian, whack job, Ricky Sievert, will have his name tarnished for all of eternity. Okay. It's weird too, because he just looks like an average type guy, doesn't he? I mean, you wouldn't, if you saw a guy like this walking down the street, you wouldn't have a clue that he was capable of something like that. It's pretty weird. You kind of wonder what was going on when he got in that car accident. What's weird is this picture here on the left that Parabon made. That looks more psycho than this picture. You know, it's pretty strange. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, and there was a. Then I went over to. I was looking in Wisconsin. I had just started, but I found one, 1989. That would have made him 20. And it says, listen to the body of a partially dressed woman had been beaten and possibly assaulted, was found early Friday morning in the rear of a manufacturing area. I mean, that sounds kind of similar, right? I mean, it's like, oh wow, like in a building. Investigators were searching for a possible connection between the slaying and a sexual assault Wednesday. Homicide detectives were attempting to identify the victim, whose body was discovered near the loading dock of the Jackson Printing Company. Preparo said the victim had been beaten over the head with some type of hard object. I mean that's very similar, right? And he lived in Wisconsin around that time, and then he moved about as far away as you can get, not as far away, but as really far away, to Colorado at some point. Yeah. So that was just one that popped up when I was doing a search. I tried to think, well, what would his MO is beating them to death. And then sexual assault. He didn't use knives. Yeah, so I guess we'll see. All right, so now I'm going to move on to these. Back to Iowa again, everybody. Back to Iowa. Okay, so this is all there was back at the beginning of this one. Iowa as Darleen Fitchett, 1960. A $500 reward will be paid for information leading to the whereabouts of Darleen Mae Fitchett, who disappeared from her Des Moines home on January 18th, 1960. For further information, write this P.O. Box number. Okay, then the next article I could find was 2014. And let's see, this is the Fitchett. Hey, thanks, Chris Stone. Yeah. Well, you guys should do live. You should chat more often. I turned off the throttle thing that you can put on there because it isn't needed. Well, it's only those nights where you're covering a crazy hot case and then 1,000 people show up. Hey, thank both
For the
both
thousands
of
of
you.
us that
Appreciate
watch but skip the live chat aspect.
Chris Stone and Carissy. Oh, you mean when you try to type something, YouTube blocks you, or what?
Two hearts.
Correct. Oh, wow. Thank you very much, Meredith McKenzie. 1 penny short of the... Where is that one? I don't know. That's not the sound. I gotta find where that is, the cat eye sound. I don't know where that is, though. It's somewhere. Who's OJ? I don't even know who OJ is. Oh, well. Sorry about that. Ding, 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 ding. Dig yields nothing in 1960 cold case. This is the...
Surfer.
That's the house right there. I think this is another one of those crazy Cobra situations, right? Darleen Fitchett was last seen on February 8, 1960. Yeah. There wasn't much information available on the case then. There still isn't. See? I mean, I just told you there wasn't any articles whatsoever. Initially, the case was only a missing persons report. Des Moines police investigated and found nothing. Rumors swirled among family members that Fitchett, in her 30s at the time of her disappearance, had been murdered. Police investigated those claims, too, but came up empty-handed. Over the past 54 years, various detectives have picked up the increasingly cold case and tried to track down new leads. Then last fall, it seemed as if Des Moines police had gotten a lucky break. A family member of Fitchett, let me turn this down, it's too loud. A family member of Fitchett called police about a rumor that a suspect whom police did not identify had killed Fitchett and buried her under the basement of a house in the 600 block of Southeast Pleasant View Drive in Des Moines. The rumor seemed credible, backed up by everything else detectives knew about the case, so they decided to look into it. 2 ground-penetrating radar scans in the fall of 2013 seemed to show a space under the concrete of the basement, and that did not belong there. On Monday, police crews broke up the concrete in that area, about 10 square foot space. They brought in cadaver dogs. Nothing was discovered. Police continued drilling some holes in the concrete around the basement and giving the cadaver dogs another chance. Still nothing. It made me hopeful after seeing those scans that she would be there. What was interesting is the scan was like this perfect size for literally, a body being in there. And look, that's the same house. I don't know if there's a back, if you can go down this side street over here. It looks like they made there. I just saw that. Oh yeah, there it is. Yep. So that photograph that we were just looking at was taken just like this. See? Even has that same wooden shed and everything right back there. So that's definitely the house. But it's a 54-year-old homicide. It's not my desk, and I'll keep working it. The owners of the house, built just 1 year before Fitchett vanished, declined to comment to reporters. They bought the house in July of 2013, according to Polk County records. Let me think. The owners of the house built just 1 year before okay, so the house was built in 1959 then. Then this new family, I guess, bought the house in July of 2013. The owners have cooperated with police. Police will cover the cost of the excavation and the repair and cleanup. A cost estimate was not available. The possibility of the basement was the only remaining solid lead investigators had. The case, like all unsolved homicides, will stay open with the hope of more information surfacing. Yeah. So this, the write-up they had here. So there's Darleen right there. And they actually, you know, and obviously that's the same house again. That's from the front where I originally was a minute ago. From around the corner. Right there. See, so that's the shop. This is from back then, 608 Pleasant View Drive. Let's see. Darleen Mae Fitchett, first name oftentimes is spelled Darlene, like our Darlene that's in here, with an E-N-E. A 28-year-old mother of 3 young children was stabbed to death. So they're actually literally saying she was stabbed to death in her 608 East Pleasant View Drive. Right around midnight, her husband, Lance Malcolm Fitchett Jr., now listen to how sketchy all this crap is, told his 2 oldest children, 8-year-old daughter Catherine and 6-year-old Lanny, that their mother had left and told them to go up and told them to get up because they were going to Adel, Iowa, to get one of Fitchett's twin sisters to bring back to Des Moines to care for them. Darlene and Lance's 3rd child, daughter Darlene Jeanette, called Janet, or I guess Darlene Janet, called Janet, was only 18 months old at the time. So I guess her name was, let's see, 3rd child, daughter Darlene. I'm not sure if this is an error or what. Like the child's name is Darlene also. The bedding and curtains from the room where Miss Fitchett had been sleeping and was stabbed disappeared along with her body. Darlene's body initially hid in the Pleasant View Drive home basement. See, this is like people saying this is literally what happened, and I don't know if that's for sure. Whoever did this write-up on this one seemed to be, you know, but let's just read it, you know, in case this is the reality. I don't know. Darlene's body, initially hid in the Pleasant View Drive home basement, was later moved to another location before being encased in concrete. The day after Darlene's murder, Lance Fitchett traded in his dark green paneled truck and came home with a new van, acting as if nothing was wrong and expecting his children to be excited about it. He continued to insist their mother had just left. Lance Fitchett never reported his wife as missing, and Des Moines police only learned of her disappearance in February after friends and neighbors became concerned. Lance Fitchett told police he'd last seen his wife on February 8, 1960, and that she'd gone to California with another man. The Des Moines, I mean, it sounds like this could be accurate because, you know, it seems really obvious that he probably did something to her. You know, it's really, I mean, just based on everything that's said, and they were checking. They believed it too. The police believed this whole story, and that's why they were so willing to check under the concrete at the house to find her body, because that would definitely be the husband if she was there. After Darlene's murder, Lance moved Miss Seiberling and her 2 children into Pleasant View Drive home where his wife had been slain. Oh, man. Let's see. Prior to Darlene's murder, her husband was engaged in an extramarital affair, oh boy, with Colleen Seiberling of 717 Franklin Street. Ah, jeez. It's just so classic. And don't bring up Chris Watts, okay? There's about a million cases that are just like it. All right. Yeah. All right. So let's see. They live all the way over here, so a couple miles away probably. After Darlene's murder, though, Lance moved in the girlfriend and her 2 children into the Pleasant View Drive home where his wife had been slain. I mean, did she actually believe him when he said, "Oh yeah, she went to California, lucky me. What a coincidence. I know you wanted to be with me, and she just took off and went to California." It's really weird. Crazy timing there. Yeah, it's weird. My streaming numbers aren't adding. It's kind of weird. Not sure what's going on there. It kind of quit counting a while ago. Yeah, that's what he was saying. Oh yeah. So after Darlene's murder, Lance moved Miss Seiberling and her 2 children into the Pleasant View Drive home. In June 1960, he and Seiberling, along with her children, were just about to move to California when Darlene's mother, Frances Boyd of Dexter, Iowa, arrived and demanded to know what had happened to her daughter. Lance's sister, Madeline, told Miss Boyd that Darlene had left. When Mrs. Boyd talked to her grandchildren, Catherine told her about the events. Let's see. In June 1960, he and Seiberling, along with her children, were just about to move to California when Darlene's mother, Frances Boyd of Dexter, Iowa, arrived and demanded to know what happened to her daughter. Lance's sister, Madeline, told Mrs. Boyd that Darlene had left. When Mrs. Boyd talked to her grandchildren, Catherine told her about the events that unfolded in the home in mid-January. Miss Boyd took her grandchildren to the hardware store where Lance worked, and the children waited in the car while Mrs. Boyd and Lance Fitchett spoke in front of the car. Let's see. Miss Boyd talked to her grandchildren. Catherine told her about the events that unfolded in the home in mid-January. Miss Boyd took her grandchildren to the hardware store. Yeah, the names are getting kind of... So that was Darlene May Boyd. Catherine. So Catherine's the mother, right? Darlene's mother, Frances. No, Catherine's the one, the new wife, right? You almost need a flow chart for this one, huh? Catherine and 6. Well, there's another Catherine. Disappearance in February. Husband was engaged in an extramarital affair after Darlene with Miss Seiberling. So her name is Colleen Seiberling. When Mrs. Boyd talked to her grandchildren, so Catherine's just one of the kids, told her about the events that unfolded in the home in mid-January. Okay. So Miss Boyd took her grandchildren to the hardwood store where Lance worked, and the children waited in the car while Mrs. Boyd and Lance Fitchett spoke in front of the car. Lance Fitchett gave written permission for his children to be taken to Dexter to be raised by their maternal grandparents. Yeah, so she was like, oh yeah, take her kids away. I just want to be with the new girls, my new girls' kids. I want to, you know. It's just ludicrous, you know. No, just a second. I gotta check something. Oh, there. Okay, never mind. So then in 2013, the basement in the house was excavated. They were investigating Fitchett's former Pleasant View Drive home after receiving a tip. And there's the basement floor right there. Somebody had disturbed the soil at some point, maybe dug a hole, and the hole measured about 5 feet by 2 feet. I mean, that's pretty crazy, right? Which was pretty odd, Detective Danny White, who currently handled the case, said. And look at, that's it right there. I mean, that does look like you were trying to, I mean, maybe it was a thought you had, and then you thought, you know what? I better get her the hell out of here. And, you know, maybe over all those years later before it was sold, or before they moved, he took her out and then repaved it. And it wasn't checked for years after that. A cadaver dog was brought in to see. Oh, now Susanna's ears perked up. A cadaver dog was called in to help the search to see if they can pick up anything that maybe will indicate for us to keep digging deeper, or if they'd find anything. Neighbors said they heard more than 5 decades ago that might have happened to the mother of 3. What might have happened? That there was a body in the basement covered up with cement. So we picked up this case as a cold case and started doing some research. Yeah. So, anyways, it's still unsolved. There was no body there. Yeah, it's just brutal. Yeah, but, you know, those damn lie detector tests, it's like, they don't really mean anything. And there isn't a lawyer out there that would say, yeah, especially when there's no physical evidence, that would say, hey, I tell you what, why don't you go take the lie detector test? What they might try to do is get a hold of the children, the stepkids that he seemed to move on with. That side, and see if they have any information. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? All right, I'm moving on to the next one now. This one is Geralyn Jean Kean. And this is her right there. A Ted Bundy type, right? But before I do that, I'll be back here in just a minute. And let's take a word from our local sponsors. No, wait, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Yeah, you like that one, Jamie? Yeah, I got stuck in jail, darn it. And here's a word from our sponsor, Sarah M. And her title is Sponsor. A generous freak. And also thank you to Michelle Nicholas above. Sarah M, the sponsor. That's funny. Wow, thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you to Tracy and Chrissy. Another word from our sponsors.
The Freak
there it is.
family is the best. Heart.
Dun, 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 dun.
Now back to the real freaky freak field hist.
Yeah. All right. So now we're on to Geralyn Jean Kean. And here we go. You guys just saw the picture right there. Get tetanus in mean jail. Commercials are starring Gray in 3, 2. You're sending me to jail? Oh my god. Okay. Oh yeah, the background shifts a little bit. All right. Well, Prissy's sending me to mean jail for no reason. I mean, what did I ever do? I've been nothing but nice. This whole year, I've been absolutely perfect, everybody. Never mean, never grumpy, just absolutely, I mean... oh, yeah. I know. Gray, you're so mean. Wait, hold on. Gray, you're so mean. Jessica Schubach. Oh, there it is. Snail Bale. Does that mean like a slow burn? Thank you. Boom. Oh, see, there's the Darleen White. That's how it's spelled. For your soap with the cut-off rope. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah, it's not going to say lol, because you actually spelled it out. All right, I'll get out.
Snail Bale.
Ding, ding, ding. What the hell happened? Oh, wait, I guess... Huh. Well, wow, thanks, everybody. I was waiting for it to read the full soap with the cut-off rope, LOL. Yeah, I gotta fix my well, hold on, I can do it right now.
For your soap with the cut-off rope, LOL.
Wow, that was a really strong, LOL there. Alright. So if I go to this one, no, not that one.
Fail.
Oops. Okay, that one. Wait, what's going on? Okay, that's not the jail. Okay, so this one, then I have to go to the one with the jail, and now I'm in this one. And if I take the gray chat and move it back over to the first one, now now they should look normal again. Okay, good. See how I didn't shift around a little bit there? The only thing that's different is now the paintings are back there. Maybe I need to move those over there too. Am I allowed to have paintings in my jail cell? Just let me know. Well, thanks, Super Soda. Gene Fish, Darlene White, Michelle Nicholas, Chrissy. All right, let me move those over there. Oh, see, I just slid it slightly again on accident. All right. Now that's Carolina T. So now if I move that over to the jail area, I can just paste it in there, but I have to move it back to lower level, so it needs to be now it needs to be back further than that, right there. Okay, and then go back up. Hey, thanks, Susie B.
For your ramen noodles, lol.
All right. For my ramen noodles.
Uber ride home.
Uber ride home. I don't know, man. That's like getting into a hitchhiking on a truck. Don't you think? All right. So now this should look normal. Okay, cool. See, now everything's correct. See, now if I go, everything looks the same. All right, cool. All right, thanks for letting me do some technical crap there for a couple minutes. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to take an Uber ride home. I think you have a good chance of not being alive just on that ride home, to be honest with you. I mean, nothing against Uber. Are you on the bed there? Don't need those lawyers at the door. All right. A ramen noodle cooking. No, I didn't know there was a ramen noodle prison cookbook. Maybe I need to put mine to live chat. I don't know what difference it really is. I haven't noticed any difference when I switch it over. Okay, here we go. Housewife 17 found slang in her home. Okay. Des Moines police were holding and questioning two men early today in connection with the slaying of Miss Geralyn Jean Gigi Kean, 17, whose nude body was found riddled with bullets, found Tuesday afternoon. This is 1975, July 30th is this article. And her date of death is July 29th, so this article is just a day after. The body was discovered in the bedroom of her home at 446 Southeast Hart Street. So, if I go to that, where the hell is it? It's not really that far away from that one. Yeah, well, there you go. That's the house right there. Yeah, what's going on, Google Earth? You're like in the middle of the planet. Ah. Okay. See, what's going on right there? Do you see that? It just sort of... Okay, maybe it was set up to go to Street View or something. So, anyways, that's the house. So inside that house, she was riddled with bullets. The victim's husband, Michael Kean, 21, discovered the body and notified authorities about 2:40 p.m. when he returned. When he returned from work at the Union Carbide Corporation in Des Moines. Dr. R.C. Wooders, Polk County Medical Examiner, said Mrs. Kean's body was found lying face down on a waterbed in the bedroom of the one-story frame home. Dr. Wooders said she had been shot several times in the face, back, and side. It's probably because she was struggling, moving around. She wasn't in one position. He said some of the shots may have been fired at extremely close range. She apparently had died a few hours before Kean found the body and called police. Okay. No motive for the slaying had been determined. By late Tuesday afternoon, Assistant Chief Teal said, police said nothing appeared to be missing from the home and robbery is not believed to be the motive. The house was not ransacked and there was no apparent signs of a struggle. How many times we keep hearing that same thing? Seriously. I mean, how many times have we gone over a story where it says the house wasn't ransacked, there was no sign of a struggle, and basically the only thing in there is we now see a dead person? Man, there must have been 10 of these in this series. Police said a gunshot had punctured the waterbed on which Mrs. Kean's body was found, they said. Dr. Wooders said there were no other obvious marks on the body other than the gunshot wounds. An autopsy was scheduled to be performed at a Des Moines hospital Tuesday night to determine if the woman had been sexually assaulted. Teal said a murder weapon was not found. Dr. Wooders said the gunshot wounds were inflicted by a rifle or handgun of unknown caliber. Well, how do you not know the caliber? I mean, there's bullets. Police said Mrs. Kean apparently was last seen alive by her husband about 8 a.m. Tuesday before he left home for work. Authorities would not confirm a report that a neighbor had seen a suspicious man in the vicinity of the Kean home about 10 a.m. This is 9 years after. This one here for some reason reminds me of the one that I'm going to be doing my first episode on Nefarious regarding. And that, the one I described last night. She's home alone. It's 9 years later, and that guy was only the suspect in that case. That's the Camp, Miss Camp Leota Camp. In her case, the guy was 23 to 30, and now he'd be 33 to 40. Same, decent, a similar age range, and you've got somebody at home in the middle of the day. Same scenario there. Also, another, the time of year is very similar. Yeah, now I gotta go open up camp now. Hold on a second. God, I wonder if these are real. Different MO, but violent nevertheless. Let me see. I'm just gonna check something out really fast. I just thought of this right now, so it's not something I had planned. Well, that's interesting. Okay, wow. So it's the same month, but 1967. All right. So it was July 10th, 1967, and now this is actually it's only 8 years later, 1975, July 29th. So, similar time of year. And she was last seen alive by her husband about 8 a.m. God, that's exactly the same. Remember, in the Leota Camp case, the husband left to go to work for the state right about that same time, 8 in the morning. And then it seemed like, and then around 11 o'clock, this person showed up and went into her house, just walked in the front door almost as if she knew him, and killed her. The Keans have been married about 8 months. Another, there's a lot of craziness here. Report that a neighbor had been a suspicious man in the vicinity of the Kean home. So now you've got this suspicious man. That's what was in the other case. He was driving a black Mustang, though, in that one. The Keans have been married about 8 months and had lived at the Southeast Hart Street address about the same period of time. They said Miss Kean was a student at Lincoln High School. Miss Kean was the daughter of Mrs. Nadine Wilson of 1414. Let me just check one thing here. Let me see where camp is. Okay, so this is where Mrs. Camp lived, right there. It's in the same town. It's wild. It just feels so similar to me about it. So it's also in Des Moines. Just 9 years later, but the person would be young still. Yeah, it's hard to say, but makes me curious. The Keans have been married about 8 months. Miss Kean was the daughter of Mrs. Nadine Wilson. Let me type in where that is, just to see if there's any kind of a strange connection of where she might live. Yeah, look at that. You got that Paul Answer guy living right there. That's where the mom lives. Remember Paul Answer? That was the other case that we were talking about. And then now we've got the mom living right in the same vicinity there. Yeah, it's just... weird, huh? Weird. Kean was the daughter of Mrs. Nadine Wilson of 1414 McKinley Avenue. Her father, Don Wilson, a prominent West Des Moines attorney, died in early March 1973 of injuries from an auto accident in West Des Moines. Okay. A 22-year-old Des Moines man who was being questioned by police about Tuesday's slaying of Miss Geralyn Jean Kean remained in the city jail Thursday, but not for further interrogation about her death. The man was in jail because he has been unable to post a $35 cash bond jeez, on an intoxication charge filed against him Tuesday night when he was arrested north of the downtown area. The body of Mrs. Kean, 17, was found Tuesday afternoon by her husband, Michael, in their home. Let's see. She was shot 5 times with a .38 caliber revolver. Now they know what it was, police said. Police said the man, now in jail, had been wanted for questioning in the Kean slang and allegedly was intoxicated when located by detectives. The man pleaded his innocence Wednesday before District Judge Thomas Renda. Assistant Police Chief Thomas A. Teal, Jr., head of the Criminal Investigation Division, said no further interrogations of the man can be conducted without the man's attorney being present. He has told us he doesn't want to answer any more questions. Which doesn't mean a damn thing. Okay, now this is an article 3 years later in May, because that's all there was at the time, those two that I just read. A testimony at a recent Wisconsin murder trial has revived interest in the unsolved 1975 slaying of a 17-year-old Des Moines woman. The trial involved Lawrence Albert McCoy Jr., 24, of Minneapolis, a former Des Moines resident. He was found guilty of second-degree murder April 29th at La Crosse, Wisconsin, in the May 31st, 1977 death of Michael Benson, 24, of La Crosse. Benson had been hit by shotgun pellets fired by McCoy and had then drowned in the Mississippi River. Man, I don't see how this sounds even similar at this point, but let's see. When his body was tossed over a bridge railing, witnesses testified. The unsolved Des Moines slaying is that of Geralyn Jean Gigi Kean. Kean, a Lincoln High School senior, was found dead at her home at 446 Southeast Hart Street about 2:30 p.m. on July 29th. Shot 5 times, found face down, and was shot with a .38 caliber. McCoy, an acquaintance of Kean's, so he actually knew her, I guess, or Kean's husband of 8 months, is considered a top suspect. Oh, wow. I wonder if that... I hope that wasn't a hit, then. Jesus. Why would you do that? Just for the insurance? So you get married for 8 months and you pay a hitman? McCoy, an acquaintance of Kean's husband. That's kind of weird. Oh, boy. Here we go. McCoy, an acquaintance of Kean's husband of 8 months, is considered a top suspect in the Kean slaying. Harlan and Kean had been pistol whipped. Harlan said Kean, okay, so Kean, the lady, even though she was shot, she had been pistol whipped and the trigger guard of the weapon had broken off and was found near her body. Wow. We had never been able to find the gun, though generous rewards had been offered. Harlan said police are looking for a 5-shot blue steel .38 caliber. Wow, they were able to determine that little trigger guard that fell off. They were able to determine that it was a 5-shot blue steel .38 caliber Iver John. Let's look this sucker up. I got to see what this looks like. All right. So an Iver Johnson revolver, .38 caliber blue steel 5-shot. So something like that then, I guess. Iver Johnson .38 caliber top break 5-shot. So something like that. With serial number, they're even saying 641832, which had been... Oh, wait, that's crazy. Harlan said police are looking for a 5-shot blue steel .38 caliber Iver Johnson revolver with serial number 641832, which had been registered to McCoy, her Kean's husband's friend. But now they can't find it, and she was shot with a .38, so it's kind of like, God, you got this murder? Man, what if he was a hitman then? Jesus. In testimony at McCoy's trial at La Crosse, Edward Warren, 25, La Crosse, who was granted immunity from first-degree murder charge, testified for the prosecution that he was with McCoy when McCoy shot Benson. He also said he helped McCoy dump Benson into the Mississippi River from a bridge near La Crosse. Let's see. McCoy admitted firing 3 shots at Benson with a .410 shotgun, but he claimed Warren tossed Benson over the bridge rail. What seemed to be unimportant testimony to observers in La Crosse was of greatest interest to Des Moines investigators and to 2 Des Moines residents who attended McCoy's trial. Michael Kean, 24, the victim's husband, and Kean's mother, Mrs. Joe Kean. Michael Kean, who discovered his wife's body in the bedroom of their home, had known McCoy as a fellow worker at Union Carbide, so maybe just happens to be an acquaintance of him. Union Carbide Corporation. What piqued renewed interest in McCoy by the Keans and Des Moines police was testimony by Warren, the state's key witness at La Crosse, that he said a .38 caliber pistol in the trunk of McCoy's car sometime after the Benson shooting. Oh boy. So there you go. The pistol had nothing to do with Benson's death, but investigators now are trying to find McCoy's car, which was burned mysteriously in Minneapolis before McCoy's arrest last June 29th in connection with Benson's slaying. The long-shot hope of investigators is that the remains of the burned car are impounded or sitting in a junkyard somewhere. And that the pistol Warren says he saw may still be in the trunk. In Des Moines, Kean said he went to McCoy's trial at La Crosse because I just wanted to see him face to face, but I was told I couldn't talk to him. Kean recalled that on the day of his wife's death, someone had called him at work and asked if he was going home for lunch. Oh boy. When Kean said he wasn't, the caller hung up. Oh man. Oh shit. You know that's who that was. I mean, whoever it was that called him is the killer, or somebody directly related to the killer, right? So that person knew that he wasn't home. Again, that's similar to that other case, Leota Camp, but sounds like the age range doesn't work here. He'd be 15, you know. or 16, I mean. Mrs. Kean, who had attended summer school classes at Lincoln High until 12:30 p.m. the day of her death, is believed to have died during the noon hour, which is exactly when Leota Camp was killed. Right? She was killed at right around noon, just before noon. McCoy, then living at Oak Ridge Apartments at 926 Oak Ridge Drive. Let's see where that is. I guess the moral of the story is don't live in Des Moines, or at least back then. You know, it's all right, so he lived right here. This is where McCoy lived, right in these apartments. Yeah, so that's not really that far away. And let's see. McCoy, then living at Oak Ridge Apartments at 926 Oak Ridge Drive, was arrested by Des Moines police shortly after Miss Kean's death. He was held for several days on an Oh, so he's the guy that was the... wow, that's interesting. Oh, man. Well, that makes it way more interesting. So, because if you go back here, this is in 1970, just one day later, listen to this. A 22-year-old Des Moines man who was being questioned by police about Tuesday's slaying. Okay, so the body of Mrs. Kean, blah, 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 blah. This is the same guy. So then 3 years later now, he's 25 years old. And look at right there, they're looking for a .38 caliber revolver. It's even mentioned in that article just 2 days after her murder right there. And then you move forward to the 1978 trial, and he had a .38 caliber pistol in his car, and he was the guy that they brought in for questioning. Wow. Oops. Miss Kean was the daughter of Nadine Wilson of Des Moines and Don Wilson of West Des Moines, attorney who died in March 1973. McCoy's sentencing. That's pretty... Don't you find that really interesting, though? That the guy that they had arrested 2 days later, the guy that was drunk, was then accused... He murdered somebody else later with a shotgun. And one of the witnesses said that there was a .38 caliber in the trunk of his car, and that's exactly what they're looking for currently. And I think that's why I was wondering why the husband said, "Oh, I wanted to look at him in the face." That's because he knew who he was, because he had been arrested 2 years prior. I was wondering why he was even at the trial, because at trial they learned of the .38 in the trunk. So then it's like, well, why the hell would you be at trial? And now we know why he was there, and that was something that popped into my head. I was wondering why the hell would he want to even be there? Why would he need to look him in the face when he didn't even know before going to trial that there was a .38 seen in the trunk? So he went there because he was the guy that was arrested. McCoy was the guy that was arrested 2 days after his wife was murdered and lawyered up and didn't say a damn thing. Remember that? So in that case, I don't know. I think they might be onto something with that guy. They just could never find the murder weapon. But they... yeah, I think they were onto the right guy there. That sucks. And so, and I bet you, and he worked with the husband, and he's probably the one, "Hey, you going home for lunch?" And he had his number because he knew exactly, and he goes, "Nope." And then maybe he thought his wife was pretty or whatever too, and I mean just a total nightmare, you know. Just, jeez. Ex-DM man sentenced for slang. So he was sentenced. A former Des Moines man was sentenced Friday in La Crosse, Wisconsin, to 25 years in prison in connection with the slaying of a La Crosse man, Lawrence Albert McCoy Jr., 24. Probably, you know, he might be out by now. He'd be about, you know, in the almost 70s at this point. Second-degree murder, April 29th. In May 31st, 1977, death of Michael Benson. Geralyn Jean Gigi Kean, a Lincoln High School senior, was found dead at her home. They're bringing that up again. McCoy still is considered a prime suspect in the 1975 slaying of a Des Moines girl, according to the police. So there you go. Sounds like he's got to be the one. And then here's the... She died around noon, an hour one way or the other. By the following day, 2 unidentified men were being held and questioned by Des Moines police, but no charges were filed, according to Des Moines. News articles published in the days following the murder said authorities would not confirm a report that a neighbor had seen a suspicious man in the vicinity. There's the home right there. There was unconfirmed reports that Kean's murder and that of Diane Schofield, 21, were drug-related. Schofield's body was found in the trunk. Oh, isn't that weird? That's the one that we discussed and was related to the... Man, you just wouldn't want to live in this town, man. It's crazy. Jeez. Remember, Schofield's the one where the ladies, I think her sister called in, right? So, anyways, that is it. Crazy, huh? I think they had the right guy, but see, a lot of these cases, they're just so... I mean, right now they're just cold as hell, and what's really frustrating is some of them seem really obvious, and I think that police should have... There's got to be a point where after 30 years, you just give it a whirl with circumstantial evidence and see what happens. This one would have been tough, because it would merely be, oh wow, a guy said he saw a .38 caliber in the back of a, but everything else made sense. He knew the husband. There was a call, but then how do you prove who made the phone call? I just think some of these cases they need to give it a shot, especially the one the other night. I can't remember. Let's see if I can discern it from Paul. This right around and is it this one? Oh wait, no, it was the one where there's a town just over here. There it is. So it's this case right here. And that is the Lillian Randolph, 1965. That one is so obviously the husband of her that remember, this is the one where let's see, she went to church with her 2 kids, and then after church they were coming home, and her, the father was going to pick him up and take him to an Ice-Capades, and then after the father left, he didn't go the direction he was supposed to go. He was supposed to go this direction and then this and then east, but he went south like this. Hey, thanks, JJSW Megazoid. Hey, I really appreciate it. Yeah, he went south and drove around for a while. Then he came back like this, and when they drove by, one of the daughters, or both the daughters, noticed that there was a car in the driveway behind their mother's car, and they knew something bad was going on. because their mother and them had been talking about how the father wanted to take her out because they had just got a divorce, or he had a restraining order against him basically, and they were getting a divorce, and he was going to have to, and I think he was paying. They might have already got divorced. I can't remember right now in my head, but he had to pay like $900 a month, and she got to keep the home, and he was really pissed off. And then there was witnesses that saw the two guys that were driving the car waiting over here at this golf course over here, and they were watching until the house was cleared, and then the husband drove by later just to make sure everything was in progress. And then later the husband was found over at the was seen at the airport. He had bought a ticket that was never used, and he apparently was talking to two guys over at the airport. I mean, that was one that literally that has enough circumstantial evidence. If I was on a jury, I'd say, oh yeah, he did it. But I don't know if he's still alive even. That was so long ago. I wasn't even, I mean, I think I wasn't even born when the case happened. All right, so you guys anybody want to call in and talk about some of these cases right here only? Yeah, that one, you'd have to be, well, there's a lot of dumb people in the world, so if they were on a jury, I could see it. Well, I don't see any DNA. Okay, well, you know, everyone's so into that stuff. You know, sometimes you can just put two and two together and it's really obvious. Now, I've been on here for 2 hours now. I mean, maybe I can just do a shorter show, I guess. The numbers that were up on the screen aren't good. Yeah, that one was pretty interesting. I think I'm going to do a few of these for my my channel, my new channel, the Nefarious channel. Because some of these are really, like, nobody knows anything about these, and they're really interesting. Yeah, that Hulda Fisher one. But remember at the end, it wasn't seeming like it was the, I think, right? What, didn't it sort of seem like at the end it wasn't the neighbor? I'd like to have more information on the case with the total cover-up by the district attorney and the sheriff. That one was just, give me a break. Forget it. Yeah, well, I'm already doing the what the hell's the name of it? I was Leota Camp. I'm doing that one. It's about, I think it's about 7 or 8 minutes long, the script part, and then I'll do at the end on all of these. I'll just be on the screen myself and give my thoughts after the script portion of the factual elements of the case. I think that's a better way to do it. You know, things to think about. That's all right. I don't think I'm gonna do the phone. Yeah, I'm kind of just thinking I want to take a. I've been on 2 hours. Probably just take a rest. Yeah, maybe tomorrow I'll have the phone be part of the show. It always takes a couple minutes to set it up. And oh yeah, that was a weird one. I'd have to go check that one out. Well, they're not. They're down there. Let's see if I can get back to the. I don't know what the other camera is called. Oh yeah, I was gonna use this. Start using this emoji here. Hold on. You know, when people cry. There you go.
Granny, you're so mean.
Come on, that's a good one. Oh. Okay, there you go. Oh. There's Blue, okay. And Chloe is just around the corner, or actually she might not be here. Chris always like brings her into the room sometimes. But it's kind of cool when they nap now. Now Chloe sometimes like rests her head on his back or something. It's never the other way around though. That's one of the things I've noticed. It's never the other way around. Yeah, well, he gets really tired because he spends the whole day fighting her off. You know? That's Blue on the ground there. Hey, Blue. Hi, bud. He looked at me like, no. That's hilarious. Yeah. I got to try to film Chloe in slow-mo, though, like 120 frames a second. When you let her outside, she runs so fast, and she loses her footing and just absolutely bites it into the ground. And then she gets up and then just starts running again. It'd be cool to catch that. The slow-mo just, you know. Yeah, I could set up a few cameras around. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But, so what do you guys think of those? Make sure you go comment after the show. Make sure you go make a comment in the comment section, if you would, please. I'd appreciate it. They could probably fit in a stocking. Yeah, Chloe weighs 3.3 pounds, 3 pounds 9 ounces. Blue is like 5. He's 6 maybe. He's sturdy. She's more like a cat. You know when you pick a cat up, they kind of drip down. Look. Well, cool, Stacy. I'm glad you like that one. Yeah. So. I think tomorrow I'm gonna have time to actually read the scripts for the background. I'm like redoing Amanda Goodman, just make it a little. Stacy made it a little bit shorter for me. Yeah, probably a little too small. Yeah, we're trying to get her to be like 4 pounds or something. I don't know if it's too small, but sometimes they get nervous to do it. I don't think, no, they don't have there's no number. Cats are smaller. I don't think so. Yeah. Well, if they're below 3 pounds, they'll do it without anesthesia. They just say, "Suck it up, boy," or girl, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, no, they do it. They get a little nervous about it. Well, sometimes I'll just say, "Hey, Chloe," you know, because she just won't. She just is relentless, you know. She just keeps biting his ear, biting his face, biting his leg, biting, you know. And he'll play most of the times. You know what he'll do? Like, Blue's kind of smart because she'll start biting his face, biting his leg, biting his ass, biting his face, you know, over and over again. And then he'll go grab a toy really quick and stick it in her face and then wrestle with it. But as soon as he pulls it from her, then she reaches up, she'll just immediately start biting his ass again. So he has to kind of keep sticking it in her face to try to get her to... Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. Well, I think Chloe's half Yorkie, Jennifer. Yeah, those Jack Russells, man, they're really sturdy little. They're like a Chihuahua on steroids, you know, little stocky little guys. Yeah, he's just out cold. Look at that. Blue. See that look? Like, just leave me alone. Thank you. And there's the floor. Yeah. Well, anyways, you guys, I'm gonna get out of here, but you guys can. I'll let you. What I'll do is I'll keep the, you know, like 10 or 15 minutes. You guys can chat if you want, and then I'll turn this part off, and you can still chat. There just won't be any music or anything. All right, but don't forget to make a comment in the comment section if you want to or not. Okay. All right. So that is it, everybody. Make sure that you wash your hands, maintain your social distancing, and despite what people want, you know, I don't know what the hell this whole coronavirus thing, why it's political out there, but you know, masks and everything actually work. You know, it's not like some weird, you know, it's an opinion, you know, if you want to and everything. You know, wear your mask when you're around other people. Maintain your social distancing. And you know, wash your hands as often as possible, because wouldn't it suck to get the coronavirus about a week before you were about to get your vaccination or something? Because I'm getting one of those. So anyways, everybody, make sure you do that. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. So well, you know what? I haven't done one of my flybys in a while. All right. I kind of missed doing those. Forgot about them. It's been a while. Here we go. Here we go. That's always kind of fun. You know? And the song is called Furious Freaks. Hey, you think that's weird? What are the odds? Nah, I'm gonna be one of the people that takes it. Let's not be cowards. Only, you know, the cowards are the ones that say, hey, don't do... Let's see how it affects everybody else, not me. Alright, here we go. I think this is in Peekaboo Campground in Utah, right there. Da, 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 da. What a move!
Yeah! Wow! That was really cool, man! How'd you do that? Hey, man! What do you mean, Jennifer? What are you talking about, Jennifer? Yeah, but who's talking about spanking? gray. Was that one? What nebula is that one? Is that igloo glue like a loo?
No, it was Igloo Laglag Luglug. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. And let me get back to this before I forget here.
Thank you to Stacy with a double cat eye donation. Linda Howell, Michelle Nicholas, Layla, my Layla. Hey, hold on. I'm gonna do something else. Marine Co. Katie2, Chrissy, Chris Stone, Chrissy again, Meredith McKinsey with a cat eye, Chrissy, Michelle Nicholas, Sarah M, Tracy, Chrissy again, Michelle Nicholas, Darleen White, Gene Fish, Super Soda, Susie P, and JJ Southwest became a channel member.
John boy, I'm scared, John boy. This storm's really got me scared, John boy.
Gosh, calm down, Mary Lou. These happen all the time. Oh, Jesus, what the hell was that?
Wait, I thought you said that happened all the time. Why did that lightning bolt scare you? You're an idiot. Did you hear that, everybody?
Well, gosh, you didn't have the lightning bolt like I did. Gee, you're so mean, Mary Lou.
Good night, John boy. Jeez, what am I ruining?
Gosh, good night, Mary Lou.
Hey, Jennifer, you're going to have to tell me what you were talking about above, though, okay? You can tell me on Facebook, maybe.
Three blind mice. See how they run. I used to get angry and all that laugh, but you would say, would you want to spell my name right? Because I never knew me was rocking a house. But I thought what the rumor was all about.
Okay, let me try it. Let me try that.
Hey, you want to try the same one?
Yeah, why not? rumor going around about me and the crew about something we did and supposed to do. You might not have heard it, or maybe you have, but when I first heard it, all of it was slack. I used to get angry and pull up top, but you can say what you want to spell my name right, cause I'm never guilty of was rocking the house. But that's not what the rumor was all about. Is this nasty day and tell all your friends, and if you don't wait till you see me again, or this way I can hear it from the horse's mouth right then and there. We can straighten it out.
Hey, that wasn't that bad. That wasn't that bad, John Boy.
Yeah, I've really been practicing now.
Oh, would you just be quiet? I don't really care that you've been practicing. I'm just glad you're a little bit better now than you were before.
Oh, okay.
Hey, thanks, Stacy, up above. Love to you too. Yeah. So what happened to Rebel Rose? Did you get strep throat? I've had that once. Not good. Anyways, I'm going to end this part of it so you guys can go over and make your comments. Alright? So I hope you guys have a good, great rest of the evening. Thanks for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. And be safe out there.